What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 back video, and happy 2018 to y'all, man. It's great to be back here on the channel, make some content. Let's jump right into this. Now, if we look back briefly to 2017, amongst all the BS, all the trash happened in 2017, at least in the gaming space, a big thing about 2017 was, of course, Paladins Battlegrounds. That completely blew up over the summer and everything, and it was the top game on Steam. It continues to do so. It even broke some of the games that Valve has on their platform and everything, and it was just a crazy good thing. It blew up on YouTube and everything. It blew up on streaming services. They just absolutely, took over 2017, and they even got nominated for Game of the Year, which was a whole nother can of worms. Were they even allowed to, because early access, whatever, all that good stuff, man. Now it's on Xbox One. The whole thing about PUBG has absolutely been just a blow up fest, right? And then we got the Chronicles, that are the Fortnite Battle Royale game mode, with the people at PUBG wanting to sue Epic for, having Fortnite Battle Royale even be a thing and everything and stuff like that. And there was controversy of them copying whatever. And it looks like we have another chapter in this saga. And really, I think that this is not even a saga, more of just a way the industry is moving forward, and kind of a new way that we are going to see a ton of Battle Royale game modes in future games. So for the first time of 2018, of course, this article comes to us from IGN, and what they're reporting here is that the free-to-play hero shooter game Paladins is getting a Battle Royale mode. And just to read off the article here, quote, "The developer Hi-Rez announced that Paladins Battlegrounds will be free to play and drops 100 players into a 20-minute match that is set on a large map. There, teams of players fight over the loot of, quote, more than 4 dozen outposts and chase zeppelins that drop legendary gear as encouraging fog corrals them into even tighter skirmishes. The last team standing wins." And of course here, other than having this giant zeppelin that, drops legendary gear, and the whole, kind of mode being around the notion that it is a team-based game, so it looks like here you won't be able to play this by yourself like you can obviously in PUBG and in Fortnite. It looks like this one will be, more centered on teams, and you will be forced to play on a team and stuff like that. This is essentially, the Battle Royale game mode, obviously, you know what I'm saying? And, there's really no issue there with that. Obviously, we had Fortnite do their thing, whatever, and even Fortnite, again, that I've spoken about here on the channel, has their own differences, so it's not really a it's not really like a carbon copy per se, because Fortnite, has those building mechanics and everything, so there's obviously a little bit of differentiation between that and PUBG and whatever thing. But the whole thing that has got a lot of people pissed about this news is that they decided to name it Battlegrounds, right? Obviously, PUBG doesn't own the term Battlegrounds. I believe they, I would assume they own the term Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's their, mantra. Like, they don't get to just own Battlegrounds, right? But having Battlegrounds in their name is obviously, I feel, a clear and clear and just egregious, kind of ploy to kind of skew people that aren't really familiar with PUBG, and they've heard about PUBG and they hear about Battlegrounds and they assume that this is what they're talking about. That's what I feel is where a lot of people are kind of mad here, and like what I've been seeing on Twitter and on Reddit and everything is just that, the way they named it Battlegrounds, right, is like where it's, kind of getting a little dicey here. Obviously, we have Fortnite and they had theirs named Battle Royale. Obviously, it's a little bit different, and if we're talking, from a general standpoint, that's kind of the genre of what we are calling these games, Battle Royale modes and everything. But I feel like, this definitely would have been a less bigger deal, and less more controversial deal, if their name wasn't directly Battlegrounds and, directly copying Player Unknown Battlegrounds, at least in the name standpoint, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel, in 2018, in the same manner that, back in the mid 2000s, kind of later 2000s, we got a lot of horde mode, game modes. Like, we got a lot of those horde modes where you're in a small group of team, or you're by yourself, and you get bombarded with constant, waves of enemies and stuff like that. And I feel like that horde mode, we saw that blow up across a bunch of different games during that era, and just like a lot of games that weren't like it wasn't even their main focus of the game. They just had it in there as well, as like a side mode type of thing, right? And I think that here with Battle Royale, what we're seeing right now with PUBG, and what we're seeing right now with Fortnite, and even right now with Paladins, and I believe even GTA 5 has a mode like this. Like I feel that we're gonna get a lot of games that just shoehorn and just add it into their game just for the sake of having it, in the exact same way that we got the horde mode back in the day. And to me, honestly, you know, it is not really the biggest deal in the world. I'm not really bothered by that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Battle Royale modes. Like, I think Fortnite's great. I've never played PUBG in my life, so we can't do, you know, we can't play that. But like, when PUBG gets to PS4, and there are murmurs of it coming to PS4 even like that, which I guess we could talk about here in this video. Why not double up? Why not? You know, I think we should, you know, double up. Maybe we'll see. But you know, beside the point, you know, with the fad of, you know, ever growing of Battle Royale, I feel like, you know, we're definitely going to see a lot of it here in 2018, right? And so, you know, I think the controversy that Fortnite faced, where it was like, oh, you're copying, you know, PUBG, whatever, I think that should, you know, not be a thing in 2018. I think it should be expected that a lot of these games, a lot of these publishers, a lot of these devs are going to put in Battle Royale modes, because that's the hotness right now. Like, just in the same way that you know, horde mode was the hotness back in the mid to, you know, late 2000s, it's the same way for Battle Royale. We are seeing the exact same thing happen here again. So, you know, and me, I'm welcoming it, you know what I'm saying? Like, me, as long as, you know, you have the Battle Royale mode that you want to make for your game, and as long as it has some differing factor and it's not a direct carbon copy. Like here with this one, we can see that, you know, you can't play Paladins Battlegrounds you know, by yourself, right? And that's a little bit of a differentiating thing. And you also, you know, have this, you know, giant zeppelin that drops legendary gear for you, and I'm presuming maybe that is the only way you'll get legendary gear, is if you're following the zeppelins. But also, when you follow the zeppelins, I assume a lot of people can know where you're at, because the zeppelin's obviously in the sky, you know what I'm saying? So that might be like a really just big contested hotspot, you know, on the map, whatever. So I feel that, you know, as long as, you know, these, you know, Battle Royale modes have something to differentiate themselves with, I feel like then they have, you know, a reason and legs to stand on that aren't exactly just PUBG copies. And while we're on the subject of, you know, Battle Royale, let's just bring up the article that was, you know, released 2 days ago. I didn't get a chance to cover it here on the channel, but you know, there was a follow-up to the questions of the CEO of PUBG Corp, the people behind PUBG, whether if the PS4 platform will get PUBG and everything. And his comments were, you know, quote, as it's going to be an exclusive title on Xbox One for some time, we'd like to focus on completing the Xbox One PUBG for now. Then he wanted to say, if we have the opportunity, the final goal would be to launch the title on every platform. So it's obviously here that, you know, they are very open to putting, you know, PUBG on PS4. And then, you know, with them, I feel, you know, obviously there is a marketing deal and a deal that they made with Microsoft to have PUBG exclusive, you know, at least console exclusive, that new, you know, phrase that Microsoft loves to make new phrases during E3 press conferences of their games, whatever. But, you know, the console exclusivity, you know, side of the deal is kind of apparent here, and I feel like they are kind of throwing some, like, just a little bit of, you know, just shade, not so much shade, but excuses that aren't, you know, to say straight up that it's because we have a deal with Microsoft, right? So they say here, quote, that early access on Steam and game preview on Xbox One are like pre-release, so they don't have a restriction on quality. However, PlayStation is very strict about this. There were cases where a game took 6 months more to launch even when it was already completed. We are still in the stage of learning the console development environment and console gamers' tastes. We need to think about other platforms after evaluating and completing the Xbox One version first. So obviously, you know, it's clear here that they are still dipping their toes in the console space, obviously, you know, where they derive from the PC, and things are a little bit more different on the game development side of PC as opposed to console, just because of the kind of just red tape and the hoops that you have to jump through with console development, you know, with you know, pushing updates for games, and it could cost like thousands of dollars because they got to push it onto the Sony and Microsoft servers and everything, and it's a ton of money to push updates to those things. I'm sure the same things are on PC, but that's just a factor that, you know, it kind of just complicates things when developing for consoles. I'm sure about it, you know what I'm saying? And obviously here, you know, if we just, you know, talk about just layman's terms here, I'm sure PUBG would love to have you know, PUBG on PS4. I'm sure they would love that, you know what I'm saying, just because of the PS4's install base, how massive PUBG has grown to be, and I'm sure the numbers on Fortnite, you know, with PS4 are super big, just because that's really the premier place to play a Battle Royale mode on the PS4. Obviously now Xbox has PUBG and everything, so that's kind of where they're more aiming towards, and you definitely just feel like, you know, there was definitely a landscape and definitely a crowd of people on PS4 that are dying to play some you know, PUBG. So definitely I would feel that they are, you know, very adamant and very wanting to launch it on PS4 and everything. And of course, you know, with their comments on trying to fix the state of Xbox One and like the PUBG version, that one I definitely do feel that, because a lot of people were talking about how, you know, on the Xbox One, PUBG was running a little bit kind of whatever. So definitely, I'm sure they want to polish up the game and then making sure it's running smoothly. But that is my time here, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Battle Royale mode. Do you guys think we'll see a ton of them on 2018? Do you think they'll be the fad? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure while you're done that to check out my description where you follow my Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all the good stuff where you can follow me on there. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.